Okay, hi everyone. Snakebit here with SHAREZA, and I thought I'd record a video about a tutorial for more advanced gameplay a bit. What most people are doing wrong, what people are doing correctly, well, mostly what they're doing wrong. Majority of this video, I'll probably gonna talk about the tactics or strategy. The fundamental part of this game that what most people don't understand is you need to sort of split the mercenary all the time in two separate zones so they won't be able to help each other. And that usually requires the spies to go separate ways at the start of the game, or at least go into separate directions at the start. For example, we're standing here in Clubhouse on the second floor, and in Club it's pretty much a template that at the start of the game one goes to main hall, the other one goes to garden. Rarely spies should go to one and the same place because it creates a trap for them. Then both mercenaries can react to it and just go both garden or go both main hall. The main idea would be to split the mercs between floor 1 and floor 2 so they can't assist each other. And this basically works the same way in every map, preferably. It's like sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes you will end up both on the second floor and the mercs will react fast enough to it and both will come up, which is actually not that great in my opinion. And this is what people usually struggle with. Both spies go in the same place, in the same direction. And if that happens, they meet two mercs and they kind of get double teamed and die. I mean, realistically, you will be able to cam or sleep or jump or grab one merc, but highly unlikely you will be able to do it with both. And this is maybe the most important rule in Splinter Cell, in my opinion. If you don't actually do that, all your camming and all your neutralizations don't really matter if two mercs are in the same place. For example, if one spy is not playing actively with one merc and the other spy just cams the other mercs, that doesn't lead to anything. Well, some maps are more demanding in this regard. For example, Club is not that demanding, but a map like Steel Squad, Polar Base perhaps are way more demanding in that regard, because the other merc will probably instantly assist the other slept mercenary and you will not get any seconds out of it. So the first rule would be always try to split the mercs between two different sectors. On every map it can be different. On Clubhouse, as an example, it's floor 1 and floor 2. And another split on Clubhouse is if you keep the mercenary somewhere behind, either in Jacuzzi or in Steam or in T or in Launch. If they're stuck there, then one spy has a one-on-one on the back side and the other spy has a one-on-one on the front side. And this is where we get to the more advanced things about this. So, for example, if one merc is stuck in the background, and we are like we are right now with SHAREZA here, then SHAREZA can take the elevator upstairs, or I can bring it here. But what the spy can start doing, at least one of the spies, if he puts a snare on the merc or uses his heartbeat, he can just start running up and down, and the merc can barely do anything about it. I mean, he will go back to the elevator right now, climb down, but as soon as he gets out of the elevator, he will get tazzed, and then he'll get a smoke in his face, and you just climb up. And you can technically do this almost to infinity. Right now I don't have any sound to hear when the elevator goes up, but or hear the nades. Well, the merc might try to go to the garden, but the same rule applies. You tazz him, you take 1 second, and you run away. The garden example is not perhaps the best one, because yeah, you can still technically go to the garden outside and try to snipe from there. It becomes a bit more complicated with the Taz. But there's a lot of maps when it's possible to do, when you're split in a one-on-one fight with one spy split against the merc, then it's just barely possible for the merc to hold. If we talk about Club is one place here, basically Garden 1, Garden 2, jump down, up, down, up. If you have snares, if you have spy bullets, and if you have chaff grenade, it's obviously way faster, but heartbeat can do the trick also. It's just a bit harder with heartbeat and without chaffs. You need to remove the mines then first. But there are plenty of examples on every map about this. So if I do quickly resign now, and we change to a different map, for example, museum. A museum cafe, for example, when only one merc is in cafe, it's also kind of not impossible, I would say. Yeah, not impossible to do it in cafe, but it's very, very hard again to not lose seconds little by little, as long as you don't have too many mines in there and the other merc can't assist. So usually what happens on museum is there is one guy in cafe, one plays cafe, takes removes the sensors, runs around, goes to the other one, and if the merc comes in the middle, you need to not forget that you can just smoke him off, throw a smoke here, then he'll have trouble running, needs to run through the smoke. While the other one basically runs around on the backside. Why is this important that both are running around, for example, in museum? One in cafe, one in on the backside of the bombs. Because in that case, both mercenaries are really busy. If one guy in cafe is not running around, as I said, then the merc from cafe can come to the corridors and assist the guy that's running through the bombs, stop the spy that's running through the bombs if he's running through corridor, and vice versa. If the backside is not running too much around, then you can get double teamed in cafe. Again, the same basic principle. You split between two different sectors, you keep the mercs really, really busy, you play really, really actively. In general, the main thing is, to split between the two sectors, and the other important part is to keep both of the mercs busy. It's not always possible, but at least if you threaten one of the mercs, not maybe with active gameplay, but with standing near the objective so he can't just leave his sector, that's also good enough. Not on all maps. For example, on Steel Squad, not being active is definitely won't do, because the second merc, even if you're standing near an objective, he will still be able to snipe your friend from the third floor or the second floor of one of the buildings. So it just heavily depends on the map. So this is the basic principles of tactics and strategy, I guess, for spies in this game. The basic core that most people somehow didn't realize yet, and only after that comes the other things that you try to do. The other basic mistakes that I see people doing is, they use cams, which is technically the most important tool in the spy's arsenal, but they kind of do it badly. So there are 3 or 4 primordial ways to cam a mercenary. One way that you cam a merc is the easiest way perhaps, but it needs some experimenting on the side of the spy, is the old camera. But what most people do with the old camera is they actually place it somewhere where it's actually easily seen. So the mercenary will be able to basically remove it straight away or see it. The more proper way is, as SHAREZA is showing here, to place it on top of the door or on the roof where the mercenary will not actually look. Even better if you place it somewhere high in the corner behind the wall, so the mercenary will not even know where to look for it. He will even if he heard the cam, he will have hard time finding it. I mean, it requires experimentation on the part of the player. Some players do it inherently better, some players do it inherently worse. It's just the amount of time they try doing it. But this is only one way to do it, to do the cam. The second way is actually to do the fast cam. The fast cam behind the corner, something like this, but you usually need to have this, the merc on the radar in one way. You either need to have a heartbeat to know where he's moving and predict his movement a bit, and just you put a cam a bit in front of him and he just walks into it. Technically it is possible to do in all places, but I need the refill, SHAREZA. Can you kill me, please? Okay, thank you. What most people start doing, they just start spamming it against every corner. But what they don't realize why that's bad, you're just wasting cameras. The merc is already expecting that. But the greatest, how to say, effect is cams behind the corner have is when actually the merc doesn't know exactly where you are, when he doesn't fully expect them. If he knows where you are, there is some counterplay to it. If he doesn't know where you are, then there's literally very few counterplay. And usually what people do, they use the most used ways. For example, this door here, they know that the merc will have to pass backwards or out of it. They stay on the ceiling here in museum. And museum ceiling here is technically an example of a good place, because you're fully safe here, and if you make a mistake, if you don't kind of cam the merc, then the merc doesn't really kill you, doesn't damage you a lot. But there's a lot of places in the game. For example, on Steel Squad in the first building, if you do it up on top of the merc from the stair side through a small hole, the merc will not damage you a lot, maybe will not even see you throwing the cam. Same thing for, let's say, Aquarius Bridge. Yeah, as SHAREZA is saying, high ground is usually beneficial because it makes it easier to throw the cam. So the main thing is to take out of it this fast cam. You don't just run around and randomly try to do the cam after every corner when the merc is already chasing you. He will know it's happening, he will put the gas mask on. The best thing to do it is when he actually doesn't know where you are. He kind of approaches you, well, you need to have him on the radar, and then you do the cam from an unknown place with him unsuspecting. With how the servers are right now, there's not much time, there's not much delay now in the game, so it's definitely doable on any servers, even on American servers from Europe, something like this, and he will get cammed. But this place was not ideal, because if I missed that cam, I might have gotten charged, I might have gotten shot, so better to do it from the ceiling or some corner where merc barely sees it. It's just a matter of you knowing the spots. And the final third way to use the cams properly is to do a variation of task cam. Task cam has actually many variations. There is task cam without any smoke. There is task cam with flash, or task cam with smoke. If we do talk about the most popular one, TAS, flash, smoke, I mean, yeah, SHAREZA was standing still just to demonstrate it, but what most people do incorrectly with this one, they either try to throw the flash too early, or they throw the cam too early. Inherently, task cam is very unsafe, because you will eventually be the closer to the merc you are, the more you have to be closer to the merc, the more successful it is. And there's a chance you'll get charged basically, or get shot while doing it if you've misplaced the flash. So once again, to do the flash cam, what do? You task the merc, you throw the flash at the last second, and then you try to predict his movement a bit and do it on reaction. There are two things: prediction and reaction. So this is possibly the worst possible place to do it. There is a lot of space for the merc to run around. So this is not a good place to do it. You don't do it here unless you have to. But if, let's say, SHAREZA comes here to cafe and stands behind this bar counter, he just stands here, this is already one of the more ideal places. So you task him, you flash him, it was a bit early, and you cam him. In here, his movement is very, very, very restricted. So the counterplay to this also is to actually stand in a wide open space, like outside here, not in a place. If you walk into a place where you're very restricted in movement, you can try to escape with the charge, which most people will do out of it. But yeah, in here it's also dangerous to charge. You will hit a wall and get camped anyways. Also, charging all the time out of it is kind of dangerous also, because the spy might predict it, but it's a lot harder to actually cam a charging person than the one that's just walking around all the time. So those are the three ways, and the biggest problem after explaining all three ways, usually every spy, he kind of drop downs in the category of using one, the first method, the second, or the third method. No, you have to actually use all three methods. Yes, you may be better at some of them than the others, but you kind of have to use all three of them to vary it a bit. Because if it's just old cams, then the merc will be very careful about the old cams. If it's just the side, no, cams behind the corner, right now they're a bit disbalanced because there's no sound from the gun. So it's hard to stop them from an ambush, but otherwise, if you just actively spam them, the merc will know. The merc will just know and will put the mask on. And the final one, the flash cam, it's harder to do than the other two, but sometimes you just have to. For example, if mercs are camping in a position that it's hard to divide them, let's say, I don't know, Jacuzzi or Steam on Clubhouse or on Cinema, somewhere in one place, then it's just very nice to have it in your arsenal, so to speak. Okay, we touched the strategy, we touched the cams. Also, what most people tend to forget is that you can grab a merc and you can also jump a merc. If SHAREZA Rage is up here, I'll explain a bit about jumping a merc. Let's say, well, sometimes you get a lucky jump. Yeah, sure, that's good. This is perhaps not the best map to do it because there's very few places to do it, and jumping wise there's actually two variations how to do it. One variation, if for example the classical one, if the merc starts working this way and you're on this box, well, go back to SHAREZA. And start walking here, you pre-jump, you don't jump on his head, this was wrong a bit. You need to be in the air, like you jump from an object behind the wall, so when the merc arrives in the place, you're already jumping him with hands. This is one of the main ways to do it. For example, you can do it on that box, you can do it here in the middle. Well, SHAREZA come in the middle here. Yeah, he comes in, walks in here. Well, that's not the middle. If he walks in here, the merc just, well, you don't land on his head, but again, the hands will punch him and he will get jumped. This is one way to do it, and this is perhaps the safest one that kind of prevents you from getting berserked. And the other way is to either trick the berserk or just jump the mercenary when he doesn't see you. Well, obviously everyone knows the doesn't see you part, so you can jump him when you're not seen. But there are some places where you can trick the berserk, especially with the modern non-aiming system. Like previously in Splinter Cell, the jump would automatically aim on the mercenary. Nowadays, if you're super high, it will not do that, and that's actually a big advantage in a lot of cases. Yes, it makes the jump a bit harder, but then it allows you to jump over the berserk. For example, if we put Mount Hospital, it works pretty nicely on the stair in Mount Hospital if he's coming up from the first floor to the second floor. 1 second. Yep. We had a person joining us while we were recording, so I don't know what he will do. But to demonstrate the stair situation, okay, now I will go to the stairs. So you can trick the berserk, and in general, Mount Hospital is in general a good map to actually jump people in confusion. So when I said not seeing people, there are two ways of not seeing. One thing is he just doesn't know you're there, and second one, you're fighting him, he's in confusion. So if SHAREZA would come to this 212 stair, it would be nice.
On my way.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say the merc is here on the stair. One thing what the merc is usually afraid of, you just jump over him here. He will eventually berserk and you will jump him. This is one way of tricking it. The other way, if let's say we are in any of the 212 room, nursery, well, mostly 212 and nursery, if you're fighting here, in a lot of instances, you put a lot of smoke. Better when you have chaff, the mercenary gets confused, and then from majority of the things you can climb up and just jump on top of the head, or actually just hit them with the hands. For example, the hands will work from this crate. If you jump like this, the hands will work. Also, the hands sort of work from this thing. If you do it properly, they will also hit with the hands. And there are many variations of it. Again, you just need to know the maps a bit and have a bit of creativity. All these places were not... yeah, you can also do it with the pulled weapon, as SHAREZA is saying, to like slow down your... If you're not sure how far you will fly with the regular running, then you can slow down with the weapon to do a more precise jump, like this. This also is okay. And finally, the last very good method that you have is grabbing, but grabbing is actually more complicated, and it would be nice that SHAREZA explained it since he really likes it a lot. The general idea for the grabs would be you look where the merc moves, and you need to predict his movement. You can do it near doors. It's the easiest explanation that everyone can understand. That you predict his movement, he comes out of the door, you grab him. But even on flat ground, you can also do it, as long as the mercenary doesn't look your way. Usually people go into a holding pattern where they don't know where the spies are. For example, in this place where I am right now, they would sort of walk here, they would look to elevator, they will look there, they will look inside here. But on this side, there is a room. If the spy is hidden here, he'll have an opportunity to just walk behind the merc and then grab him eventually. Again, it's a bit tricky. You can do it in a fight by confusing the merc in a fight with smokes and then stopping somewhere near him. But there's a danger that the mercenary will hear you on the movement reticle that he has and the movement that comes from it. So grabbing, it's complicated. It's really complicated. It's hard to explain.
It's a lot of timing and knowledge, I guess.
Yes, there's a lot of timing and knowledge. It's not a mechanical skill, it's more of a prediction and knowledge skill, I would say. So it's hard to actually train it without playing the game for a long time and understanding how people play from one place to the other. To defend against it, I would say nowadays walking out the doors is really dangerous. Most of the doors, so best idea if you're a bit in danger, just charge out of the door. Do not try to this is the worst thing you can do, to walk out the door as a merc and then look one or the other side. You'll be vulnerable. You can technically check from the side of the door a bit, but that also doesn't guarantee anything. Best defense nowadays is just to charge out with the changed hitboxes. And that would be it for the main tools of the spy, I suppose.